Hello and welcome back to Net Scraps. I hope you are having a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. I know I have been away for a couple of weeks since October when we did the 30 days of sketches, but we are straight back into it today and we are creating a beautiful card with the new Nativity Scene. Now it is still available in my shop at the moment, so you can check the description below if you would like to check it out there and support the channel by shopping with me, but for those of you that are outside of Australia, that may be quite hard. This is a close to my heart stamp set, of course. That's what I use the majority of the time, and I am going to start by stamping this out. Now I hope you'll stick around and see what fun we have, because we're going to blend this card, we're going to do a little bit of spraying, lots of little things, and we're going to end up with a really nice card that's got lots and lots of little bits and pieces going on with it. I am stamping out the different elements, so I have Mary and Joseph, the baby, and a wise man. Now I was going to make a couple of different cards. I did get a bit sidetracked and I nearly forgot to stamp out the baby, the little baby Jesus. We can't do a Christmas card without the little baby Jesus. And I was going to have three wise men, but in the end, the amount of space as I was creating, I decided that it wasn't quite going to fit three wise men as well as everything else I wanted to put on there. This beautiful stamp set comes with some the dies for the different members of the family. So we have a shepherd, Mary, Joseph, wise man, a sheep, donkey, some like frankincense and myrrh, and what's the third one? Frankincense, myrrh, and whatever that third one is, a little star, Jesus, of course, and then there's a background to make a little scene and that you will see as we go along. Here I am making a mask for my card so that I can blend around this. This is going to be my moon that's going to be up in the sky. My old round punch is getting a little bit worn, so you see there I had to trim it back out with the scissors. I'm going to take that mask and use it on my page. The ink colors that I'm using today are Stormy Sky, Chip Sapphire, and Salty Ocean. These are my three favorite colors to use when I'm doing a blended background for nighttime and for those kind of darky sky feelings that we want. I tend to go in with the Stormy Sky first. I'm not going right up to that moon mask that I have made. I'm leaving some white space around it, and I want that to be that kind of glow that comes from around the moon at night. As I go, it kind of gets a bit closer and closer. I then come in with the Salty Ocean, and that just gives a bit of brightness in the background. Most of that is covered. You don't see much in the end. Now, one of the things that I think you need to really grasp when doing blended backgrounds is that it takes a few coats. You're not going to get things right on the first go round. So I tend to go in between colors, backwards and forwards, do a layer, come back, do a layer, come back. But the next thing to think about is it does not need to be perfect, because we're going to do some other splattering on this, we're going to use some water on this, and all those things will detract the eye from where you think that it should be perfect. So feel free to take your time, work on this, go in with one color, go in with another color. The Salty Ocean will actually go on top and give a bit of brightness on top if you want, or if you want it a little bit more dark and murky, that Chip Sapphire, just keep layering onto that. Once I have what I think is right on there, I'm going to go in with some black, which here I feel like I've gone back in with a bit more Chip Sapphire. I think I wanted it a little bit darker. Sometimes what I'll do is I will let the ink sink for a little while and soak into the cardstock, because then you see how it lightens or darkens. So you've probably seen I'd walked away, there was a split in the video there, and then I would come back and do a little bit more. Here's the black going on, and that's going to darken it and give it that real nighttime, it's going to be pitch black soon kind of feel. Let's see if I am happy this time and I can move on. I'm cleaning up my mat, so that is a really good sign. Here I'm going to come in with that town die that's going to be in the back. This is going to set a scene for us. I'm going to cut this out of black cardstock, but I'm also going to grab a little bit of yellow cardstock to put behind. Now you can't cut them both with that die. As you'll see in a moment, you will need to layer that up and put the yellow in behind. With the magic of YouTube, they are all cut out on my Gemini machine, and you can see here I'm going to start to put them together. It takes me a little while of moving the black cardstock around, trying to figure out where it's going to go, where it's going to look the best, and I'm just kind of jiggling bits and pieces here till I'm happy with the look. When I think I'm happy, I'm going to start patching in the yellow sections that are going to show through on the houses. So here you can see I've just taken small pieces of the yellow cardstock, popping them there, and this just takes a few seconds. Now you don't have to be precise in the area you cut, because you're only going to see what is on the front. Where there's a little bit of leftover glue there, I'm just using my rub and erase rubber to take that glue away and make it nice on the front as well as the back, because I'm just using the tape runner through those windows really, or around the windows. I don't really want the, yeah, you knew what I meant. Here we go, I've got that one nearly done, and then I'm going to try to trim these down to the same height. So I just use scraps of black cardstock, and the problem with that is that I just did not have them very perfect at all. So I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on the two pieces, join them together, and then try to trim them down nice and even. So I had 2 goes at this, and to be honest, I originally was thinking that the black was going to go all the way to the bottom of this card base. Then I kind of trimmed it, and I come back in and I trim it again a little bit later, and it will end up that it was never going to be right that way. But happy accidents, I think it's, who says happy accidents? It is Rolf Harris. No, not Rolf Harris, the other famous painter. Trying to think of his name. Bob Ross. Happy little accidents. So happy little accidents, it works out for the end. You'll see how we fix this little bit. At first I'm thinking, well, that's where the people are going to stand, but we make it even better right at the end, so stick around for that. Bob Ross moment. Bob Ross, how could I forget his name? His happy little accidents in the sky all the time. So here I am coming in with some water, and this is one of the Tim Holtz spray brushes, splash brush, and I'm just sprinkling that all over the front of this. I let it soak for a few seconds because this is sped up. It doesn't really show exactly how long, but I let it soak for just a few seconds, and then I come in with some paper towel and I'm going to lift off a little bit of that color. Gives that sky just a little bit of variance. Now that I have that little bit off, I'm going to come in with some gold spray. So I want some very fine droplets, and to do that, what I'm going to do is aim above the sky, so sort of to the top of the box as you can see it at the moment, and then have it so that the spray sort of starts at the top and lessens right off as it comes down the card. I only need a wee little bit here, and that is enough. Now this is really hard to see on the video, and it's really hard to see even on camera, that the sparkle you get off this little bit of gold gloss spray. It does really look like lots of tiny little stars in the sky. The next thing to work on is the colouring of the characters. Now I have sped this up and cut a lot of this out because it's very simple colouring. It's not blending as such, it's not using the markers in any special way. I am really just filling in the colours. They are too small to do anything really fancy with, and rather than have you guys sit here watching for a really long time, I've cut the majority of it out. So with the magic of YouTube, we are going to fast forward to where they have been die cut out with the wonderful dies that come with the set, and we are ready to put the card together. So here we go. Now for a little bit more fun, where we get to start the finer details. I'm checking where I want my characters, where I think they're going to be placed, but before I put them on, I am going to do a couple of tiny last little details. First of all, adhering that cityscape there, which is very important. So pop that one on, and then I'm going to go back now. At the very start of the video, you might have noticed I punched a piece of white cardstock, and then I also punched the mask. So I am now going to use that piece that I pumped, the negative space here that I cut out of the white paper, and I'm going to put some yellow onto my moon. Now I do not want a whole yellow moon. I just want just a tiny little shadow of yellow. So I've grabbed up a blending tool that's already got a yellow on it. I've tested the color there. I'm going to put a little bit more mask around each side of this piece of paper so I don't get yellow anywhere else on the card front. And then I'm going to use just the ink that's left on that blending tool, and just on the bottom put a little haze of yellow. You'll notice there's a little bit of a white ring still left, and the whole moon is not yellow, it's just that one little bit. Now I left that mask on the card while I was doing everything else because one, I did not want gold spray all over the card front and over where the moon was, and two, I will smudge it. If it was white cardstock there and I'm using other stuff, it will have black, blue, all kind of smudges over it. So I leave it until I can very late in the process to take it off, so I'm not making big smudge marks there. Now I'm going to stamp the star onto my background. So this has been stamped in the black ink, but I want it to stand out. So I'm going to come in with the Spectrum Noir gold pens. Now they come in 3 different sizes. One of them is a very, very fine pen, and I'm going to use that to fill in the little details. There will be a little bit of a close-up of this so that you can see what I get up to, but I'm going to take it and try to color between the black lines, so on the inside of the black lines that I've stamped, leaving the black lines there. Now where I find that I can't get that finer detail, I'll come back in at the end and we'll fix it up with a black pen. So this is a little just added detail. It adds a little bit more. The star's not like a solid star, it has these few little lines in it, so I'm trying to keep some of that detail but also add the gold. So you can see here on the close-up, sorry, it does get a little bit blurry because it is so zoomed in from my normal camera. And at the end you'll see the black pen here that I'll come in and just touch up a tiny few details where it's not 100% perfect. And then we will move on to the next step. So we have the characters to go on, and I think I alluded to it at the very start, a little detail to put on the bottom. Now I should have put this little detail on first, but I didn't. That's okay. We were able to lift and sneak it in underneath. But there's where my family are going, there's where my little wise man was going, and I realize now, only now as I'm editing and doing the voiceover for the video, I didn't give him any frankincense or myrrh, or I think it's silver, the little bottles. I forgot to give him one of those. I may need to pop back and give him a jar of something to give to little baby Jesus. So little baby Jesus is going up on a little bit of foam tape. The rest of them are straight on top of the card. There's already a little bit of dimension there because there's the couple of pieces of cardstock underneath it, and then some black shimmer trim. And I thought this would be really beautiful because then they've got something to kind of stand on that is a bit highlighted down there at the bottom. So I'm going to pop that on. I do need to lift up baby Jesus' legs, and I think the wise man's legs to get him on there, but we do manage to be able to slide that on. I don't pre-plan these cards. I'm not somebody that likes to make a card then remake it to do a video. I have done it several times, but I generally like to just play and you guys get the results. So this is not like, I don't sit down and go, this is what this card's going to end up like. I might have a picture in my head of what I think it's going to look like, but it comes out however it does. At this point, I'm thinking the card is finished, it's done, it's ready to rock and roll. But then I have another kind of look, and one, I have smudged the back. And remember before I was talking about me and smudging, really am bad. I get stuff everywhere. And two, I feel like it needs a bit of a bordery kind of bit. So I'm going to cut the card down just a smidge, give it just a tiny little bit, and then I'm going to go back to those gold pens, the same one I used for the star, but I'm going to use the really thick one, and I'm going to get it nice and juicily, is that a word? Probably not. Juicy and runny. Make sure there's lots of ink on it. Now when you first open these pens, if they haven't been used, you have to prime them, and that's what you can see me doing up top, right up in the top corner, is you've got to press them until they get all of the ink running down into them. And then I'm going to just use that nib, and I'm going to just fine line around the outside edge. That is going to run a little bit onto the inside because of the bristles of that pen, but leave a really fine gold detail on that. So, just off camera for a second, I must be, don't know what I was doing there, guys. Once that is done around that outside edge, I'm going to put that on foam tape and put that onto a new card base. Now, if you're in the US and you're making this, trying to recreate this in the US, which I would love to see, if you do recreate it, send me a photo, let me know how you go. This card base is a little bit different in size to the American card base. So this is an Australian size card base, which is done off DL, which is half an A4. No, yes, but it's half A4, but the different, folded in a different direction to a normal card base. Something like that. Anyway, it's slightly different to the American version of a long card. So if you are sitting wondering how I got these measurements, or how yours doesn't look exactly the same as mine, that is why. I wanted the outside edge of this card base to be black. I did want the inside to be white, the back to be white. So I've just drawn around it with a black texture and given that little bit of a darkness to it. And then I will be foam taping this card up. So I'm just adding 3 slips of the foam tape there. This is from a very old stash of foam tape that I am still slowly but surely getting through. And then on to the base. That is pretty much it, guys. There is going to be a little close-up here at the end so you can see the details and the sparkle and things like that. But apart from that, that's the card done, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have. Please let me know if you want to go out and try this, whether you're going to give it a go, whether you got the stamp set and or you've got an old set that you're going to give something similar to go. I would love to know. If you do want to share with me, you can send a photo to my Facebook group, which will be linked below, or pop a comment down below and I will send you my email address and all of that jazz. Please, if you've liked this video, consider liking, subscribing, all those lovely things that keep us YouTubers just toddling along as we go. Apart from that, I love to hear from you guys. I love to hear what you think. I love to hear your comments and know what you thought of the project. I will see you guys soon. Take care. Bye.